Well, I like being back here. I have good memories, not just from winning Ally last year, but also from PGA Tour days. This place has just got a place in my memory that is special. So I'm honored to be the champion and to come back do this media day is fun, and just be back on the grounds here. I'll be sort of reminiscing a little bit, I'm sure.
What are some of your favorite aspects of this course stylistically that makes it so fun for you?
I think it's just the traditional layout of the course and the conditioning. We expect high standards, but here you get it for sure. And it's changed a lot. It's almost like a time capsule in a way. It's just stood the test of time. It's not the it's not a brute of a golf course, but it's got its own little challenges and interesting topography with the kind of ridge here. These holes on this side of the ridge all slope that way, and you have to factor that in on your putts. And then the opposite is true when you get on that part of the course there, and it takes a little bit of experience to figure that out.
How important is it to have an event still here after its history, with the Buick Open and stuff? What does that mean to have an event here still?
Well, I think anytime the PGA Tour plays at a course for a long time and then it transitions over to the Champions Tour, a lot of the players naturally are also transitioning. So it's good for us because a lot of us have seen it, and we get to go back to a familiar place. Because it's not just a golf course. When we come to a town, we stay here for 1 week, but we learn a lot about the town that has nothing to do with the golf course, like where to go eat, where to get our coffee, where to stay. We make friends in places. So it's always good to return to familiar locations and courses, but it's not just a course.
So what's one of your favorite places around here?
Eduardo is one of my favorite places. It's awesome. It's pretty close to where I stayed a bunch of times. And there's also a Yemeni coffee shop here that's pretty cool that you don't see everywhere, that you're probably not expecting that kind of response from the golfer. But yeah, it's just I live in the South, so coming to Michigan's a little different experience, and I like to see different parts of the world.
That's okay. Stewart, this year on the 2025 PGA Tour Champions, every year has its own little personality. You come out there. I think you won 1 or 2 events this year.
I had a 1 win.
Yeah, you had 1 win. So the personality, a lot of the great players are starting to age out. You got some young players coming in. Bernhard, he'll probably be playing after you retire. But what about is there a personality you see in the season so far? Is there a lot of new players that are coming along, or I don't know, Matt Kuchar? I mean, he's still playing on the PGA Tour. He can play out there. I mean, I don't even know what I'm asking you other than to say. Everything's
you probably want to delete the part about Matt
Everything's
Kuchar because he's 47.
I thought he was 50 already.
No, I think this year has been a year of sort of resurgence of the older guys more than the newcomers. I guess I consider myself still kind of a newcomer because I'm 52, but I didn't start playing Champions Tour golf until pretty far after my 50th birthday. But look at Miguel Jimenez. I mean, he's just played amazing this year. He's had 3 wins, and he's come very close to a couple more. And so I think he's 59 or 60 years old. I'm not really sure about that. But the guys from that have been out there and established themselves are the ones that are really playing great. Ernie's reestablished himself this year. Padraig Harrington is going to be good for a long time, and I think we'll have some battles in the future. But it seems like it's been more about the guys who are out there for a long time playing well again and sort of having resurgence in their careers than the guys that are turning 50. Just kind of the way it ebbs and flows.
What do you enjoy about having a Champions Tour? What do you like about it?
About playing the Champions Tour? I think the number one thing is that I know everybody. When I played on the PGA Tour at 52 years old, you are a pretty significant outlier. And socially, it's just, while you know everybody and they know you, there's not much of a connection because like everyone out there is my kid's age. And so it's just it's kind of a lonely feeling out there. You kind of, the way I experienced it was that I just ended up feeling like, what's the purpose of me being out here doing this? So fighting my butt off to try to earn my place to do the same thing the next year when I've got the Champions Tour out here waiting where I know all the players. It's a lot of new venues. Now, Warwick Hills is not a new place for us, but a lot of these tournaments we go to are new for me where I have to go out, scout the course, figure out the town, and I enjoy that part too, but the familiarity of all the players and just a slightly slower pace. I've put in a lot of time on the PGA Tour, and so to be able to come out on Champions and being more familiar surroundings with the people is probably the number one thing.
Winning last year, did it make it easier to make the adjustment now that you've been here for a little bit? You know, or is it like a monkey on your back till you get that?
I think it actually worked the other way around. You asked if winning made it easier to make the adjustment, and I would say that it was more like making the adjustment made it easier to win. Because just before last year's Ally is when I committed, my wife and I had a conversation about it, and I committed to playing the Champions Tour from that point on. And the Ally was my first tournament after making that commitment. So I would say it was the other way around.
What are some of the intricacies of this course that guys on the tour enjoy about just playing it, or just like some of the things that stand out about Warwick when you guys come and play?
One of the things that the pros really like is that you get rewarded for your shots really well. And this course being a tree line and fairly narrow golf course, if you play well, you can shoot some low scores out here. And you can't really hide if you're spraying the ball all over the place. I just think of holes like 9. 9 is one of the narrowest drives of the year. It's so incredibly narrow. And in fact, I played the second shot from the 18th fairway a couple times last year. I got kind of lucky and had a shot. But that's one of the things that players like, the shot values. That if you play well, you know you can. The course will give you some rewards, and this course does it. It's been here a long time, hadn't changed very much. I'm not even sure if they've redone the greens or the bunkers in 20 years. It's just the same course it used to be, and that's a good thing. You know, the course is, it's got good quality bones, and it doesn't really need a whole lot of tweaking.
What are some of the biggest takeaways that you had from last year's tournament, and what's it going to take to be able to successfully defend the title?
Well, I always think that defending titles is quite a bit overplayed because you got a field of, in this case, 78 players roughly, and it's a whole year removed from your game, and the state of your game. Golf's constantly evolving, and we're never the same player 2 days in a row or 2 shots in a row. So I always downplay the defending thing, but I will say that winning here last year definitely gave me that sort of feeling of belonging. And I had played a handful of tournaments up until this point and hadn't won. I'd knocked on the door, but I kind of felt like I'd come out here and win almost immediately. And this, I think, was my 11th tournament maybe. And so it took me a little while, but getting the win definitely, it felt like I got to put the accelerator down and sort of got very comfortable.